All right. Good morning or good evening, wherever you happen to be. Uh, Welcome all. Today we'll be hosting a USA Crypto AMA with the team from BlockVault, focusing mainly on their upcoming project, BlocVest. As with all things crypto, this AMA is for informational purposes only and is not financial advice. It is everyone's responsibility to do their own research when making investment decisions. For anybody new here, we generally start with a brief introduction, Q&A with the project, follow with an open discussion for any listeners that have any questions, and then stick around because afterwards we will have a prize drawing for cash, whitelist opportunities, and in this case, depending on if you opt into their private sale, you can even get a free NFT valued at $1,000. Without further delay, Celtic and Jeremy, whoever wants to go first, the floor is yours to give us an introduction of your team and the upcoming BlockVest token from the BlockVault ecosystem.
Great. Hi all, and firstly I'd like to say thank you for having us. We're delighted to be here to share the next module in our project with your group. BlockVault, as you may know by now, or some of you know, is an ecosystem project where we have 5 tokens and 8 modules which will be developed over time. The first of those was the BlocVault token, which went live on the 22nd of the 2nd, and we're now moving ahead to the release of the BlocVest module. The team are here in the chat, and I let them introduce themselves. So I'll hand it over to Jeremy there, and he can introduce himself.
Hey, thanks Celtic. Thanks Matt for having us. My name is Jeremy. I'm the CTO. Handle everything on the technical side and work closely with Brew Labs, who is partnering with us on the development side of all the different smart contracts and all these. There's about 9 of them in this one module. Who would be next here? Relly?
Yeah, I can go. Hey guys, my name is Relly. I'm the head of social media and I managed everything social media wise. I'll pass the word over to Bruno.
Hello guys, nice to be here. My name is Bruno. I'm the head of PR and community management. And I think that's it. Is there anyone else from the team around?
AJ should be here somewhere.
AJ?
Guys, how you doing? AJ here. I'm the CEO of BlocVault. Nice to be here. Thank you for having us.
Okay, I think that's all of us, guys. We're here. We're ready. Let's rock and roll.
All right. So from the beginning, we do know that you have a token already in existence that is currently available, BlockVault. A lot of devs copy and paste basic contracts from major launch pads. Was your contract a fork off of another contract, or did you have it made from the ground up? I know from watching it personally, there was actually a few contracts that you guys went through before you settled on the final one, which is currently in use. So how did you come about that?
Yeah. We actually done the contract from the ground up in cooperation with Brew Labs because we had some issues, as you know, earlier on in January with our original contract, and then for security reasons and everything else, we decided to work closely with Brew Labs again from a trust issue and security point of view. We went that road. So everything was done specific for us. The staking contracts and the staking front end, back end, everything was built and developed in conjunction with Brew Labs. So that's pretty much where how that came to be.
Okay, and I do have a bit of familiarity. I know we don't want to focus on BlocVault tonight, but I personally have staked since day one. I accidentally hit the 1 year staking pool twice. I wanted to do one short term and one long term. Actually, personally happy that I did because I've already gotten back 2/3 of my initial investment just in claimable tokens alone. So it almost feels like um, there's no risk because I'm not having to pull out my initial investment because I've gotten so much rewards up front. One question I have with the rewards is it a distribution of reserved unlocked tokens, or is there some kind of an outside income source that is funding the distribution of these tokens to offset any sell pressure that people might have from wanting to take profits from their reward tokens?
Jeremy, you hop in on that.
Yep, no problem. So when we set this token up, he set aside percentages of supply for this. So they're coming from reserve pools that we had set aside for that. However, we haven't had to dip into them to load the contract. This is still off the original set aside supply as far as what's in there now, and the token's reflectionary of itself. So you get self reflections.
Awesome. And yeah, definitely look forward to talking about the reflections of the next project and the coming questions. One thing I was curious about, has the team identified the causes of the previous launches and tested BlocVest on either the test net or maybe even the main net to ensure a smooth launch with this next upcoming project coming out?
Yeah, the first initial V1 launch was an issue with security issue, as he told you. The second one was an internal screw up with an airdrop, and then we went with the third one, which was smooth. So there was no issue with the contract itself on that one. In terms of BlocVest and BlocVault, all of them were tested prior to release on the test net.
Got it. Yeah, I actually do remember that now. It looked like too many tokens got given out, like too much of a percentage. You guys caught it right away, and then were able to deploy an identical contract with the right ratio. Was that the situation?
Yeah, the pancake swap router didn't get removed off the airdrop list, so it got too many of the tokens in the first airdrop. So we had to, there's no way of getting that back, so you had to redo it.
A rookie mistake, but a hard learn. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is good to see a project that is honest. With the first situation, you guys froze trade whenever you identified an insider threat, and then you funded it, from what I could tell, with your own liquidity to make sure that the other project could launch without having to wait for the original liquidity to be unlocked, right?
Correct. And then we had to add additional funding to go on the third time. So yeah, I know we're real about our business and we're here for the long term.
Excellent. Yeah, so it's good to see an honest project that wants to push forward and do what's good for their investors. So having said that, I personally have confidence in whatever future offerings you have, which makes me want to move on to the current project, which is BlocVest. One of the interesting things about it is I see your NFTs have immediately useful utility. You have that bronze NFT that gives you 0.25% daily APR, not monthly, not yearly, but daily. And then you could stack it with a gold, which gives you an extra 0.5%, and then a platinum that gives you an extra 0.5% on top of that. Is that correct?
It's bronze, silver, gold, platinum. So the base rate is 0.5%, and then the bronze takes you to 0.75%, the silver takes you to 1%, the gold takes you to 1.5%, and the platinum takes you to 2%. Now, the way these are going to work is you're going to have to buy the first level to get to the next level. So you have to buy the bronze and the silver, then the gold and the platinum.
Yes, and it's worth adding to that as well that they are not transferable from wallet to wallet. So whatever wallet you buy the bronze in, you'll need to buy the silver in and the gold and the platinum if you go that, if you want to go that far. But I think the team, we feel that the sweet spot is, around that silver.
Yeah, most definitely. And given the price, I mean, unless somebody's got some really heavy bags, the silver is going to be what most people can afford. You got the bronze priced at 1,000, the silver at 5,000, and what was it, 35,000 for gold and 75,000 for platinum.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
for anybody listening, this is BUSD. This isn't tokens, so these are some pretty high value NFTs, right?
that's correct. But the power of what 2% compounded daily can get you over time justifies the value of what that is, right? So the best way to play that is get your bronze and silver compounds. Then you're going to be able to make a couple claims and be able to afford the gold, and then you can compound some more and afford the platinum and compound until you're ready to get your daily claims, right? So if you just plan out how you want to do it, that's the best way to go. But 1% daily is really good too. So you have options.
Yeah, and I did look over the chart that you had posted in chat based off of just staking $100 of BlocVest and then adding these NFTs to it. A question I had was, what will the compounding fees be? I know in Block Vault, I have a really small fee to initially stake, but then whenever I withdraw, whether I choose Harvest or Claim, if I remember correctly, because I've only done it once, it was between $3 and $4 to do that. And so if somebody is, for example, only has $100 in the pool, if they were to compound daily and it was even $2, that would be 2% of their initial stake. And so they would be doing more harm than good. So is the compounding going to cost any less, or should people be aware that if they don't have, say, at least $500 or $1,000 staked, that they should probably not go for the daily compounding, but maybe weekly or greater frequencies?
That's a great question. The difference between the two is you have a reflectionary token that you're staking and claiming and compounding on the other one. So you're paying the gas fees to send out reflections sometimes when you have low volume as well. That's why sometimes they're real high. On BlocVest, there is no reflections. It's just a token, right? So it'd be whatever the network gas fees are. And then I think there's 20 cents on top of that, and that's it. And then as far as taxes going in and out of the pool, claiming, compounding, or putting it in there would be 10% until you incur a whale tax. The whale tax would be when your daily claim value hits 1% of the liquidity pool. The whale tax would kick in.
And is there like a rough estimate what like the starting liquidity pool is going to be if you reach hard cap of pre-sale?
250,000.
Okay, so that's nothing people have to worry about anytime soon.
That's correct.
Right. Yeah, we're starting with a very high liquidity because we want, stability from the very day we launch.
Awesome. And with the pricing of your NFTs being pretty hefty, but I can see how you can get the money back out of them. How much of that NFT cost goes into funding the sustainability of BlocVest in order to pay out these really generous rewards?
Well, they're going to be pretty much split off into three things. You're going to have some that goes to the development of the project itself, the overall ecosystem, correct? You know what I mean? Then you'll have some that goes to the treasury contract, and then you'll have some that goes into liquidity.
Okay, so it is a direct distribution of the funds. There's no investment in some kind of outside investment that could possibly bring in more money. It's more of a kind of like a recycling of the funds to get into the pool.
Correct.
Sorry, I was just going to say there that the exact split on on how that how that works out is not fully decided, but it does allow us the options, to use the treasury on pairing against tokens and adding to liquidity and so on and so forth. So, funds from the NFTs and microcharges and stuff, they will go to the treasury.
Got it. And do you have the breakdown? You gave me in the chat a breakdown of based on what somebody staking $100 would get just for having a bronze NFT, and then how that would change if they had a silver NFT, and so on and so forth, just to let people know the kinds of returns that they could expect if they were in this particular staking for the BlocVest token.
We did a breakdown on that, and we put it into our own main chat. I just wonder if Bruno or Relly, if one of you could find that breakdown maybe and post it here in this chat group. We would give everybody an idea of what that $100 could possibly do for them over time by compounding.
The spreadsheet.
It's not on a spreadsheet. It was a post that I posted and pinned it there in main chat. It just had the details of if you started with $100 on over the different scenarios. I can take a quick look myself there anyway while you're chatting away, guys.
Yeah, sure. That'd be appreciated. Then people can get a kind of like a visual idea, especially if you post it in our chat, of what kind of returns that could be expected. And then regarding that, you guys have a private sale currently ongoing. And in this private sale, which has a max cap of 2 BNB, the amount of tokens you receive is still going to be the same as launch price. But the perk to get into private sale is anybody who does the max contribution gets that $1,000 bronze NFT included with their 2 BNB purchase of tokens, correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
I've just posted it for you.
Thank you, ET.
And so just to clarify, I wasn't sure until just now. You mentioned something about not being able to transfer the NFTs. Once an NFT is actually used for its utility, is it kind of stuck in the vault and cannot be unstaked or sold to another person? My understanding was that they could be traded and they'd be increased in value as the supply gets sold out.
The bronze and silver NFTs are not like a limited supply. The gold and the platinum would be a smaller number, say, per year that we let out, right? They are non-transferable. So you have 365 claims in the trickle vault. So once you run out of those claims, then that would be it. You would have to start another wallet, or you start too early, compound with one, and start claiming with the other and buy some NFTs for the other one. That makes sense?
Got it. And actually, that's another thing. And we've been talking about the trickle vault this whole time. There's actually 2 other vaults to go into. But with that trickle vault, is it a claim? Like if I was to claim one time every day for 365 days, I got my 365 claims, and then that wipes out my supply of BlocVest tokens to where I get whatever rewards I've accrued and compounded, but the actual BlocVest now stays in the vault?
Correct. It stays in the pool. So in that scenario, right, if you were at 1% on your daily claims, it would be a 365% APY. So you're putting tokens in, you're getting tokens back. It'd be 1% of the tokens you put in daily. So you're going to get back what you put in, and you're going to get back more than what you put in. It just depends on how much you compound compared to how much you claim compared to your daily percentage.
Got it. And is it per se a 365-day limit to the vault, or if I was to stretch it out to only doing a weekly compound, then would that make my staking last for 7 years?
Yeah, potentially, if that's how you do it. It's just until you run out of your claims.
Okay, I didn't want to know that just to know how much you could stretch it out, but based upon how you explained how cheap compounding is compared to the current claiming of BlockVault, sounds like it only makes sense to do the maximum daily compounding regardless of how much you have staked.
Yeah, as long as the network fees remain reasonable as they are right now.
And then another vault that we have, or that you have, is the shareholder vault, which I essentially see it as like a rebranding of BUSD reflections. So unlike the trickle vault, which is going to be paying in more BlockVest tokens, this one's going to be paid out in BUSD reflections, but it seems to have a catch. It's not just like a standard reflection, because this is BUSD reflections exclusive to people that are not only staked, but staked in this specific vault. So that should give like a higher concentration of BUSD to the holders in this specific vault, right?
Yeah, that's correct. We got a 10% tax on the token buy and sell. And so 5% of each buy and sell get converted into BUSD and go into the shareholder vault. That's accumulated over a month's time and paid out on the first of the next month to anybody that's in that vault. It's paid out based on shareholdings in the vault. So the more you have, the more you're going to get. And you also have to have time in. So if you're in the whole 30 days, you'll get your whole amount. If you come in on the last day, it would be prorated.
That's pretty cool. So 5% doesn't sound like a lot compared to other tokens, but if 1/30-year people are staked in the trickle vault, 1/30-year people are staked in the shareholder vault, and 1/30-year people are staked in the accumulator vault, that's assuming everybody stakes 100%, then you're actually going to feel like you're receiving 15% BUSD reflections. That's not even considering the people that just don't stake at all. So I do kind of like that idea, how you have a specific pool if somebody wants that stable coin.
We call it the shareholder pool because it's like you're owning your share of the token, right? You're getting half the tax money going into that pool when you're in it. And that's going to account, when people in the trickle vault are coming out with their 1% and getting their money back, selling it off for their profit. So
Yeah,
the
I
people in
mean,
the shareholder vault get a piece of that too, right?
Yeah, sounds like a pretty slick concept. And then with that, if I understood it correctly, in this vault, do you actually get your BlockVest tokens back as long as you stay in without pulling out for 6 months?
Yeah, that's correct. That's how it would work. You go into the shareholder vault. It's locked for 6 months. You can add more later if you want to build your position, but your 6-month lock would start over from that time you added the last time.
yeah,
It's going to take a snapshot of the value that your block vault or BlockVest tokens were worth at the time you put them in there. And so when you come out after 6 months, you decide to come out and the price of the token doubles, you would get half your token count back, but that's the same amount that you put in. Does that make sense? Dollar value wise.
Okay, so you're going to pull out the dollar value, not the token quantity once that 6 months is up?
Correct. Unless the dollar value is less, then you'd pull out the same amount of tokens. But if the dollar value of the token is more, then you would pull out less tokens. But you'd pull out the same amount that you put in, not to mention all the tax that you earned the whole time you were in there.
Okay, so worst case scenario, I get the same amount of tokens out, but they might be worth a little bit less. And then best case scenario, the price skyrockets and I get to keep all my rewards plus the equal dollar value of tokens that I initially put in to begin with.
Correct, but even in your worst case scenario, you'd keep all the rewards, the 6 months of them.
Yeah, I mean,
And
whatever way you go in that vault, you don't lose because I mean, whatever you go in with in dollar value, you come out with in dollar value, and the time in there, you get rewarded monthly for. So you're not, if you park $500 there, it comes back as $500, and you get rewarded every month for being there.
okay, and with this 6-month requirement, does this 6-month term also apply to receiving rewards? Like if I was to stay in past the 6-month mark, could I continue to receive rewards without having any strings attached and I could pull out at any time? Or do I have to re-up my 6-month commitment to continue to get rewards?
Once the 6 months is up, you're in and you still get your rewards and you can do what you wish. Just keep in mind that if the price doubles, you get half the tokens back. You want to go back in, your position is halved, right?
Got it. And then moving on, there's also the accumulator vault. And this one I didn't quite understand, so definitely going to need a bit of help explaining it. But if the initial contribution is set at, say, 500 BlocVest tokens, then do I have to continually contribute 500 BlocVest tokens for every frequency that I am in the accumulator vault? Like if I choose a weekly or a bi-weekly or a monthly, or is it a dollar amount to where some of the payment frequencies that I need to put into the vault, I might have to pay more or less tokens?
It's going to go off the dollar amount. So the tokens may be more or less, as you noted there, but the same dollar amount. So if you were to, well, let's back up here. For every $5 you put in, you get $1 back. So it's 20% back. Each payment made, the previous payment, you get your 20% and your tokens back, right?
Right. And in this one, it seems like reversed in terms of time invested, because with most staking pools, you get more with the longer commitment. But in this one, it's the shorter commitment, because if I choose the weekly, am I going to be getting a 20% return of investment every week because I'm doing weekly installments as opposed to doing it bi-weekly or monthly, where I'd make the 20% for making a monthly installment?
Yeah, it's 20% no matter which period you pick. But in order to get the 20%, you have to make the same payment or more in value to get the 20% on the prior week.
Got it. So whoever chooses that needs to make sure that their budget can handle it. Like if you're going to do $100 weekly, then you got to make sure you have set aside $100 to contribute in BlocVest tokens in order to continually get that 20% recycling reward with your contribution.
Exactly. Now you can up the payment if you decide that you can do more. As long as you keep up with that, you'll still get your 20%. If you miss a week or you need to go down, you just do a less amount. You don't get your 20% from the prior week, but you get the same, dollar value back. So you're not losing anything there. You're just losing the bonus, basically, to go down or to miss a week. And then once you make the next payment, it just keeps going.
Interesting concept. And yeah, that was a question I was going to ask, is if you can up it without any setbacks. So you can, if I was to go from $100 to $150, I'd still get my 20%. But if I was to scale back to $25 or $50, then I would miss that 120% allocation, but I could still keep it going at that lower rate. I just missed that one payout.
On the 20% portion, yes.
And then one thing I'm curious about with the tokenomics itself, how does the 2% BlockVolt token rebate factor in? Do holders of BlocVest kind of finance BlockVolt receiving more BlockVolt tokens, or will holders of BlockVolt be receiving BlockVest tokens or BUSD, or what's that 2% token
Well,
rebate that is mentioned?
I'm glad that you asked. Basically, you have the taxes that we said at 10%, 5% goes to shareholder pool, 2% goes to block vault, 2% goes to liquidity, 1% goes to development of the ecosystem. The 2% that goes to block vault goes to block vault's treasury contract. Now, what a treasury contract is, since both of these tokens are going to have them, is it gets BNB through either taxes or other micro fees or the NFT sales, things like that. And once a week, once a day, or once a month, whichever interval that we go with here, you perform a buyback and it buys the token. And those tokens are locked in that treasury contract. Once every 30 days, we would be able to pull some out if we needed to say top up the vesting contract or one of these vaults. But other than that, they stay locked in there.
Yeah, and it's worth noting as well on that, you know, as we build out the ecosystem here, and I mentioned in the introduction where we've got like 5 tokens and 8 modules, and all of these will be designed in a way to send percentages to the treasury contract, like micro fees and those 2% for block vault, the original token. So you can get a feel from that over time, you know, that these treasury vaults will have, you know, quite an amount of BNB, and they'll be doing, you know, a really good job of propping up the charts for block vault or for BlocVest or wherever they're needed.
All right, so yeah, it definitely looks like this token is geared at people who are actively involved in your ecosystem. If I was just to hold BlocVest, basically my only benefit is holding it, waiting for the price to go up, and then pulling profits whenever I feel appropriate. Otherwise, if I want to take advantage of any of the Vestonomics, as you mention it, in your website, it behooves me to choose which one of the 3 different vaults best suit my investment strategy, right?
Yeah, that's correct. In terms of price appreciation, it's got a 10 million token supply, so the supply is quite small. And as this stuff starts to get locked up and the treasury contract starts to buy supply out of PancakeSwap, you can imagine the price is going to move.
And whenever it comes to the trickle vault, whenever somebody has accomplished their 365 compounds, are those tokens locked somewhere to where they can never be put back into circulation, or do they go back into like a deployer where they can be sold again and redistributed to new buyers?
They stay in that pool for the trickle vault itself. So they'll be in there and claimable by anybody that gets to a point to claim them, because you can compound as much as you want. It's not limited to 365, just the claims are.
Got it. Okay, so in summary, the Trickle Vault is an NFT utility enhanced, self-reflecting vault that has increasing staged interest depending on how many NFTs you have stacked on top of each other. I'm looking for the terminologies. The Shareholder Vault is an exclusive BUSD stablecoin rewards vault that gives you 5% of the tokenomics of buys and sells. Does that also include transfers?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so every transaction, not just buys or sells, buys, sells, or transfers, but it is one of 3 vaults. So doing the math, it's actually going to feel more like a 15% or more BUSD reflection token, unless everybody for some reason goes to that one specific vault. And then the accumulator vault is for people who want to make whatever contribution that they want to make and then just snowball it 20% every time that they make a contribution that is at or above the previous contribution, and then they get that instant 20% boost in holding.
Correct. And that would be on the prior payment periods period, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds pretty interesting to me. It sounds like the accumulators, like a reflection token on steroids. The shareholder vault is like a BUSD token on steroids. And then the trickle vault is stepping into the whole NFT utility space of things and giving somebody another option if they want to throw down that much of investment up front. Is there anything else that I missed on the BlocVest token that you guys would like to showcase and communicate to everybody here before we open up to questions?
No, I don't think you've missed anything really on it. But what I would like to say in regards to the accumulator vault was we added late into it. And the reason behind it is that a lot of people in the world get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So that was our where we decided to look at how you would enter that with from your paycheck. And the idea really is, and the concept is that if we look at how people can do this on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, it means that the chart is healthier because there's token buys at week on week on week on week. And we just felt that it was a really strong way of growing a nice healthy chart, to step in there with the other two vaults. So that was kind of the reason behind the accumulator vault. I just wanted to add that to the end of that discussion.
All right, I appreciate it. And so, in summary, most of these rewards are generated through sales volume in the tokenomics, but it's kind of like a strategic way that you recycle the tokenomics in order to distribute them to all these different vaults and reward options. You do have additional income coming in depending on how successful your NFT sales are that's going to be distributed. At this time, you don't really have a specific percentage allocation, though, to what percent of NFT sales will go to each function.
No, that's correct. We haven't exactly put those percentages together. And Jeremy, what's your take on that insofar as I think
well, you're probably going to break it down like 30, 40, 40, right? Or 30, 40, 30. So you'll have 40 that goes into the treasury contract, and then 30 that will be set aside for liquidity adds later that you would pair with tokens that you pull out of the treasury contract, and then 30 for development of the ecosystem, which could include adding liquidity if we need to this system.
Okay, and then the way this token is developed, and I've heard people say it's an awesome idea, and I've heard people say, why are you doing this? Is you have token after token after token with its own separate contribution to the ecosystem. So do you want to give any foreshadow of upcoming tokens and where they may fall and how they may make buying into BlocVest and possibly even BlocVault now beneficial because of what's to come?
Yeah, absolutely. Like as I said earlier, there is 5 tokens in the plan. Each one of those tokens will send a reflection and a reward back to the original BlocVault token, which was the first token launched, because the ecosystem is BlocVault. That was the way we had originally mapped it out. And obviously with the treasuries involved, being able to stabilize the charts and keep them healthy when we want to across the 5 tokens. That's another major factor in the future of this. So holding the BlocVault token, to me, as an investor in the space for a long time, would be a no-brainer as this builds out into the future, because you're going to have a block launch token, which will again sustain our launch pad when it goes live. There's an NFT marketplace which is coming to fruition in the next 3 to 4 weeks. It should be live. So there's loads going on, absolutely loads going on. But certainly, I mean, the ecosystem is designed for the tokens to power the 8 modules, and all of those tokens will reflect back to the BlocVault token. Every other token after that will reflect back home.
And they'll all do about a 2% reflection like what BlocVest is doing, or do you see any being either more generous in reflection or possibly having other benefits or rewards coming back to original BlocVault holders?
There certainly won't be more than 2% going back, but that's not to say that maybe one of them or two of them may only have 1% going back. We're not sure on that yet. Again, as we look at the taxes on the Launchpad token and the different other tokens, when we really start to hone in before we put them for private sale and where funds may be needed and where they're not needed, we'll determine the best move to make and the best way to split the taxes to reward the holders of the ecosystem, and also to make the ecosystem sustainable for the future.
All right, so it sounds like BlocVault's the foundation, BlocVest is the reward, and maybe the Launchpad is opening up to bringing in other projects and other sources of really widespread revenue to the BlocVault ecosystem. I saw you had a Block Pay, which was like a credit card, basically, for crypto coming out in the future.
That's right. Well, Jeremy has a great analogy of that, because I mean, the focus long term, Jeremy, if you want to it's fairly simple, really.
Sure. The ecosystem that we're building and the vision that we have is to make BlocVault's ecosystem the one-stop shop for basically anybody that's looking for crypto. So, you'll have the fiat to crypto option, you'll have the crypto to fiat option. We'll have a launch pad. I'm not sure how many launch pads you've heard of where you can use your credit card to buy into the pre-sale, that kind of thing. As well as, the retail investors coming in that way, and then going cross-chain and being able to buy any crypto that you want all in one spot.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to open the floor now to any questions that anybody else might have on the project. So anybody, feel free to speak up, take turns, and ask away.
Hey, I have a question. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, I'm looking at I have a couple questions actually, but first I'm looking at the shareholder vaults. Now it says that 50% of all buy and sell action is directly converted to BUSD and added to the vaults. Now, in my mind, not knowing, I joined in a little late, so forgive me, but that sounds like there's a 50% transaction tax. I know that's not the case because it's 12% buy and sell transaction after reading through your whole white paper. But I'm curious what is meant by 50% of all buy and sell action means, and your guys' what you guys mean by that.
Well, on the BlocVault token is the one that's 12% in and out. The BlocVest token is the one that's going to have the shareholder vault. The taxes on that are 10%. Buy and sell and transfer. Excuse me. 5% of the buy and 5% of the sell and 5% of the transfer, basically, is what half of the 10% is. It gets converted to BUSD and goes over to that vault. Accumulates monthly and then pays out to the people on the first of the month. that are in there.
Okay, so it's not 50% of like volume; it's 50% of the tokenomics, the reward that's there, right?
Correct.
Okay. I only asked that for clarity, just because it is a little confusing. It sounds like it's 50% of, it says of all buy and sell action. So in my mind, it would be 50% of just the volume. And then another question was on, after looking through your white paper, it looks like you guys are taking a 3% development cut and a 2% marketing cut. What's the plan there? You know, I know that you guys are doing NFTs and more tokens and everything, but it does seem pretty steep to go straight to the team, because I know that you guys are going to use it for what you say you're going to use, I'm sure, but it seems like a pretty steep cut of every bit of that.
Yeah. So again, I think that is off of the Block Vault token itself, is where you're seeing that 3 and 2. So this token that we are now talking about, which is the second module on the ecosystem, which is BlocVest, that has a 10% tax, and there's only 1% of that pulled for development. The Block Vault token is the other one where you're seeing that 12% tax, and the 5 and 3 are for development and marketing. And if you notice, between that token and this token, we have, took more on that, but virtually nothing on this. And I know the Block Launch token, when it comes, marketing and development, again, is skin to the bone, and more is kind of moved across through the ecosystem into the Block Vault token and rewards to the holders. So basically, we have, as we design out the ecosystem, 1 or 2 of them will be slightly higher, because the development behind an ecosystem this size and the marketing and everything else that's going to come with it as we get bigger and bigger and bigger are going to have a cost, and a fairly severe cost. And we need to be realistic as a company, and also be able to deliver these without being financially burdened by not having funds ready and available to move when we need to move.
Fair enough. I know it takes a lot to run and develop a project firsthand here. So last 2 things real quick. Again, forgive me for joining in a little bit late. Are either of the tokens launched, the BlocVest or Block Vault, or are either of those launched yet?
Block Vault is live, and it went live on the 22nd of February. And BlocVest is about 3 to 4 weeks out, probably more like 4 weeks, because we're adamant that we are not launching it until we have everything on the front end and back end ready to go. So there's, the vaults are open, everything is working, everything is tested and working. So when we launch,
okay. So the last part of that then is, and I know this is about BlocVest, but I'm referring to Block Vault here, just because that's the only website that I found for you guys right now. But I'm looking at the white paper for Block Vaults, and it mentions in February launching and CMC listings and whatnot. And then in March, it looks like you guys have the roadmap to deliver the BLST token, which I'm assuming what we're talking now, the NFT blocks, the Mint Warriors, Metabolic Partnership. Has all that been fulfilled, or is that still being worked on?
No, we're not 100% there yet, and the white paper needs to be updated, and we have somebody doing that right now at the moment. The NFT marketplace is, as I was told by the devs over the weekend, 65% there, and probably 3 weeks out, 2 to 3 weeks out. So it's not far away, and that will be. We'll be testing that and making sure everything is right too before we drop it. The Warriors, we have the designs done, everything is ready to go. So that side of it, we don't have much left to do on that once we get the NFT marketplace up and running. And yes, that's pretty much what we'll be focusing on over the next 3 weeks of April. We'll be getting that NFT marketplace out, getting this BlocVest token into pre-sale and getting it live. BlockVault, the token, and the staking platforms which were added extra to it, they're all live right now and have been for over a month. Or for about a month now. So, we continue to develop out. It's hard to give a timeline onto the roadmap, and then things change. The modules are changing. We're adding more to them to make it more innovative and stuff like that. So we seem to be constantly going back to that roadmap and changing it and making it bigger and longer and wider.
Fair enough. I appreciate your time and your answers. Thank you.
Thank you.
I did have a question from the chat, kind of what I already asked, but I'll read it anyways, just in case it's a little bit different. Will additional outside revenue be injected into BlockVault from the additional tokens, also known as BlockVault or Block Launch, Block Swap, Block Pay, NFT Block, from fees for the services?
Yeah, it's likely that as I said, there's percentages of the taxes throughout the ecosystem that will all flow back to BlockVault token, and with those treasuries, it allows us to move smartly to make sure that each of the tokens, if needed and when needed, can be made healthier or the charts propped or anything like that. So again, those things will be worked out in time, but there is the reward to go back from every other token into BlockVault.
All right, and the other Jeremy, not your dev Jeremy, did mention something about NFTs availability and all that. So to be clear, the NFTs, especially this bronze private sale NFT, will the launch not happen until they are ready to go and be minted and distributed to ensure that whoever does do your private sale, for example, gets this NFT at launch to where they could go straight into the trickle bolt and start getting these benefits?
Yeah, that's correct. Our plan is to have the NFTs ready and the NFT marketplace ready. Everything should be ready to go when we are at public launch with BlocVest.
And then also, since I've been with you guys a little bit longer as an investor, you did mention the Warrior NFTs. Will that be released about the same time too, or since that is associated with a later development in your project, which is gaming, if I remember correctly, will the Warriors be kind of a later offering than this bronze, silver, gold, platinum set of NFTs?
Yeah, the Warriors will be later on the roadmap, because we have prioritized other parts of the ecosystem and other modules to come first. One of the things important to us was when we get the NFT marketplace out there, because it's going to be again cross-chain multi-network, and it will also allow people to use fiat direct to NFTs, and it's pretty much BlockVault's version of OpenSea. So we'll have people out marketing that insofar as getting NFT artists from around the world to showcase their NFT collections on the website. And, then obviously we'll be looking at partnerships with those NFT artists. And so that has that whole area has huge legs to grow. And we want to get the NFT marketplace out first, start creating some of those partnerships. Our warriors are there. We've offered them to a free warrior NFT to the private sale on BlocVest going back, when we started, and they will be dropped at some point further down the roadmap. But again, we feel it's important to get that open, start collaborating, some partnerships coming in there, and tease out the best way to develop out, the whole warriors, block warriors, and the metaverse, and the fight gaming, and so on and so forth. So that will be later down the line.
Okay, and so to be clear, these NFTs that you have coming out with the BlocVest, they're also dependent upon you having your NFT marketplace set up, or are you going to use a third party to host them just to get things out quicker, kind of like how you did with, if I'm correct, staking and even the contract development? You kind of had Brew Labs help out with the initial launch, right?
Correct. We have options there that are in front of us, and we can take either our option to make sure that BlocVest goes ahead when we're ready.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions for the BlocVault ecosystem team?
Yeah, I was wondering if I can get the price of the NFTs again for each level.
Certainly. The bronze is $1,000, and that one is free when you buy into the private sale with the max 2 BNB contribution. The silver is going to be $5,000. The gold is $35,000, and the platinum will be $75,000.
Okay, so with those prizes, I know they have different levels of rewards, but the possibility of someone having $75,000 is that seems pretty steep for an NFT. But with that, how many golds, silvers do you have and platinums of each NFT? Because if you have too many of them going on, how are you guys going to be able to sustain the APY?
Yeah, no, the gold and the platinum will be very limited. The set number of them per year is still being worked out, but it will be very limited because obviously they would have the potential to do, to do exactly what your concern is. The bronze and the silver, there'll be no shortage of supply there whatsoever. So, but the gold and the platinum there'll be a limited supply yearly. That number I don't have exactly right now, but we will have it very shortly.
Okay, and then with that, will the team members have gold NFTs or something like that where they're automatically rewarded for doing the project? I'm just trying to figure out, I guess, the rewards with them if they're variable. So let's say there's 10 platinums, and they're all hitting the same pool. Is that going to negatively affect the other users that are doing them?
No, the way they work is you back your it's 2% of what you put into the pool, so it's all self driven. So whatever somebody else is doing in there is not going to negatively affect you in there, right?
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if you guys had a pool with a certain amount of funding. So let's say like the basic of the pool is 30%, and then you put in these super high level ones, and then you have to kind of fight for it depending on how much you have.
No, there's plenty of supply there, and then we also have the other treasury contracts to help bolster supply in the different pools as we need to do that. It will be buying back the token and holding it. Every 30 days, we'll be able to pull out, I believe it's up to 5%, and put that wherever, whether we need to put it in the shareholder pool, the accumulator vault, or the trickle vault. It can be moved in that regard or added to liquidity if we need to do that.
Perfect. So I know you guys have been out for a little bit now. What are your guys' charts looking like, and then how do you plan to sustain the increase of all the additions to your projects? Because you're going to have to hire more developers, potentially more team members to keep track of all these items, and then you still have further growth or expansion on top of that.
Well, again, from that point of view, there is a portion of the taxes from the buy and sells that go to the marketing development, and there is team tokens from BlocVault, and there will be on BlocVest, also, which help with the team. The ecosystem is being developed in a way where there's micro fees on movement and transactions in and out, and so everything, incurs a small micro fee. Those micro fees can build up over time to help the company to develop also and to sustain itself going forward. And you're dead correct. We with everything we launch, we need more devs, we need more mods, we need more staff, and so all of that is being took into consideration with the taxes, the micro fees, the NFT sales, the NFT platform. There'll be fees obviously to launch off our launch pad, so on. So it's there's a mix there, but it's about getting that mix correct.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I guess my final question would be for the NFT portion. So let's say that one of your members decides to sell off their complete token supply, but if their NFT is non-transferable, do you guys dissolve that, or what happens to it with the supply?
The NFT would just stay in their wallet. When it comes to the NFTs, these are not like only 10,000 being minted. The bronze and the silver are basically infinite mints, right? So you're not going to run out of those. The gold and the platinums, we will limit to, X amount per year or X amount per month. It's not going to be a large amount because of what they can do, but we just got to figure that number out, what we want that to be, and then we can announce what that is.
Yeah, I was more referring to the high level ones, just because they're more scarce. So if it knocks one out of supply, that just changes the distribution overall. So that was it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the questions.
All right, so looking at your chart, which I wanted to have pulled up, but I didn't, we have the bronze interest rate at 0.75%. You gave an example of $100. I'm going to change the example with really simple math to $1,000, because roughly, if we're going to max out your private sale, it's going to be about $1,000. So with that bronze NFT, I would make, instead of $1,529 over the next year, and that's assuming that the price does not move up or down, I would make $15,000 or $15,290 through all my APY from compounding daily. That's pretty huge. And then if I go down to the silver, which I could afford to buy a silver probably about 4 to 6 months in, because I know it's not going to be a third right up front. It's all based on compounding. But let's say 6 months in, I can afford to buy the silver. And now I start with my $1,000 of tokens with a silver stacked on it. And then by the end of having that for a year, I'm going to add a zero, so it'll be $37,780. So then I could afford a gold NFT roughly, with my really bad math, within a year and a half of starting the trickle vault. That sounds pretty cool. And then one of the questions my brother did mention, though, was, are there any people that are either on the team or special interest or maybe even contest winners that have received silver, gold, or platinum NFTs in particular? Or will each of these really high yielding NFT rewards have to actually be purchased to bring revenue to the project? Because if not, it
Every
kind of really sets a negative to the project, whenever you're giving away something so valuable.
everybody's equal on this one. None of them have been given out. You got to
Yeah,
pay your way as this one goes.
yeah. No, none of them will be given out. Not to the team or anybody else. They're too lucrative, and so it's as Jeremy said, we all start on the same page here.
Yeah, for sure. Because with the bronze, basically, if the price just stays the same, which I would say it's feasible if you have multiple launches coming after it, because you're going to keep the volume and interest coming back as long as you prove to be a trustworthy and reliable project, which you have been so far. Um, the bronze is going to triple your money, and then the silver is going to multiply your money 7x, and then the gold, I don't even want to do that math, but it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, snowballs.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. This module is completely sick for rewards, and it a year out, the clever people that compound properly and do the right thing, with the shareholder vault, and have some, maybe break their bag up and have a little bit there and some in the trickle vault, and if they can afford to accumulate, take their 20% and use their weekly savings, and then shift that around the ecosystem, or shift that around the other two vaults. In a year out from now, they'll be taking serious numbers for the 365 days.
Yeah, absolutely. I do see the potential being there. I mean, with my thought train, I would ride out the bronze 6 months, bump it up to silver for a year. But then after that, am I going to go gold or am I going to take profit? It's going to become a game of hot potato because people are going to have so much money. They're going to be paying off car loans, paying off houses, paying off credit, whatever their problem is. And so the reason I bring this up is it is an incredible opportunity to, continue to bankroll all your earnings. But do you have any further incentives other than the next golden carrot of the next NFT to keep people either coming to the project or like one example I'll use is with stablecoins. Currently, the SEC is going after stablecoins because they want to audit them and make them go, dollar for dollar on Tether. And then Tether is making tons of money because they don't have a dollar for dollar. They're taking those dollars and they're using fractionalized banking to make money off of loans and other kinds of leveraged accounts. Are you guys going to take any of your profits to invest into other things to make the ecosystem more sustainable, or is it completely dependent upon people wanting to go into the next module?
No, obviously, as a company as well. I mean, smart money tells us to invest certain amount of what comes through the pipeline into sustainable other different projects and different things that we see as being a win-win and a plus for the BlocVest ecosystem. There'll be partnerships involved too, where financial gain will become the focus, and with an ecosystem of this size and a long-term vision of the wallet app and everything else, and how that pairs off to the website, and then there's advertising across the ecosystem, which can be sold weekly, monthly, daily. So we have so much ahead of us, and so much that so many avenues for us and rabbit holes for us to go down. And certainly, every one of them will be kind of teased out, looked at, and then the team will decide what's the best move. With all of those different things as we travel. But of course, we'll be looking at ways to invest cleverly and sustain the long-term vision that is now BlocVest.
All right, and I have one more question. I've already asked it like 3 or 4 times, but I'm kind of thick-skulled, so I want to get it through. With these NFTs, particularly the bronze and the silver, really particularly the bronze, I'm a private sale buyer. I now have this bronze NFT, and if I use it in the Trickle Vault, it's my NFT. It's permanently bound to my wallet that I received it in. But now after being in this AMA, what if I'm like, well, you know what? The shareholder vault really sounds amazing. I want to do that instead. If I never use that NFT that I've gotten through your private sale deal, is it then transferable to somebody else to where I could sell it to somebody to apply more of my revenue to the other vault of choice? Or is it once it gets associated with a wallet address, they are 100% bound to that wallet address?
It's the latter of the two. It's pretty much that wallet address. You're not going to be staking the NFTs into the platform. They just need to be in your wallet. So that's why they're in your wallet and not transferable.
All right, I appreciate that. And actually, one other big question, I kind of got lost in thought and also hearing other people's questions. What kind of NFTs are these? I've seen the most legit NFTs with resale value seem to be Solana or Ethereum. What chain are these ones on?
These are on BSC, just like BlocVest.
Okay. And I guess if resale is not an issue and it's all about utility, it kind of doesn't matter, but I figured I'd ask the question.
No problem.
All right. Any other questions? Mods in USA Crypto, have I missed any questions in chat? I saw that one pop up whenever somebody tagged me, but I'm not seeing any more tags on my name.
Yeah, I do have a question for you.
Sure, brother.
Yeah, so looking at the contribution wallet for the BlocVest currently, the first question is, how many BNBs are left to raise? The second question is, looking at the wallet, I do see some transactions going out of that wallet to different addresses. Could you kind of give a little bit of detail on that? What's happening there?
Yeah, that wallet is we set it up for the private round. What's going out with it at the moment is going out to some of the marketing, and it's going out to some of the bigger end of it is going out to development. We have funds coming through from other sources, and sometimes it takes time to get the dollar into the liquid, and so we will be adding back to that in the next day or two, maybe 3, when we have all of the funds that are coming through turned into BNB. So rather than hold everything up and be waiting around, when the funds are there, private sale is normally used, in my opinion, to get marketing going to the pre-sale and get us to launch. But again, that's where the funds are being used from that wallet so far.
Oh, okay. How much is left to raise?
We are doing a 300 BNB raise in private, and I think right now that wallet is probably somewhere in around 80 BNB. I know it was 72 or something earlier on this evening, and I didn't look at it before we came here, but it could be in around 80 now, or the mid 80s. So there's still 220, 225 BNB left to go in private. Now we have AMAs going ahead all week, almost 2 a day for the next 3-4 days. So we're hoping that this will build a private fairly soon, and then we move on to focus on the pre-sale.
You guys have a deadline date on that, or just gonna just wait until you guys fill that?
When it fills, it fills. I mean, we'll know, I suppose, prior to it, and we'll start to announce, that it will be closing very soon.
Cool. Yeah, that's all I have. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hey
I got
guys,
a
just a
question
quick
to
question.
piggyback on that. Whoop. All right, go ahead.
You can go ahead if you're gonna piggyback on that question. It's probably you should go.
Sure. Yeah, just can you give us any examples of the marketing that you've paid out to yet, just so we have an idea of what avenues you're going to use and what we might expect for results for that marketing?
Well, right now we've paid out specifically just to push the BlocVest module and to build the community for it. So I think we have paid out to about 8 AMAs going ahead over the next week. We've got like Legit Crypto, Futures Lounge. There's Jeremy, you probably have another few names off the top of your head.
Yeah, so Future Lounge, the private group of that, and then the Future Lounge as well. Coin Talk is a private group of that as well.
Yeah.
Then another private group, the SIRS, if you've heard of them, and I believe the Bean Factory is in there as well.
Yeah, correct. So yeah, they're pretty much right now. It's AMA rounds is where we're pushing that money, because we have a fairly big pre-sale, and we have a sizable private sale, and again, we're looking at having a very healthy liquidity when we launch, and we're looking at having a good marketing budget behind it to push it.
Hey guys, so I just saw you guys on USA Crypto, and I saw you're having an AMA, so I just joined. So I'm sorry if this is a stupid question, but I saw you guys have launched already. So what's the private sale for?
Okay, so we originally launched the first token in our ecosystem on the 22nd of February, which is called the BlocVest token, and that is a reward staking token. The next module, which is now in private sale, is called BlocVest module, and it is a triple vault staking platform. For again, it's a rewards token.
Okay, got it.
No problem, buddy.
And Seattle, to go back to answer your question, it's sitting at 86 BNB collected right now, 86.1 or 0.01. So there's 213.99 to go.
When did you guys start the process? Like what day did you, or how long ago did you guys start raising the private sale?
Oh, a week ago. We just announced it in our own group, probably about a week ago now. We've literally.
It looks like you guys have used like around 20 BNBs after the contribution, around 20 BNBs. Is that correct?
I think it's more than that, buddy. I know there was one payment to development alone was 22 BNB. Yeah, I mean, from where we sit currently right now, we've got an NFT marketplace that's about 3 weeks away from being finished. We've got the BlocVest token, which is up and running and doing its thing, and should be coin market cap and CG listed very shortly. And we've got BlocVest here being delivered and finished out. So again, in the real world, this is a business. Things don't happen by not using the BNB to market and develop. and that, of course, is the real reason why we raise these things. We have, as I said, funds in different places that are being moved around and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I'm not sure the exact number that Walla has put out right now to the marketing and development, but whatever has gone out will be put back through in the next couple of days, and because we want to, again, when we get to public launch, we want to have a really strong liquidity pool there.
What would you say the initial market cap would be when you guys launched the BlocVest?
Based on the price of BNB earlier, which was 448, it was about 1.794 million.
1.794 million. Wow, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, the pre-sales got a 700 BNB hard cap and a 10 million token supply. And 80% of the raised 700 BNB will be going to liquidity.
Oh, appreciate that, Matt. That's all I have. I'm not sure if anyone else has any questions.
Hey guys, I just got a quick question about the accumulator vault.
Andy, yeah.
I'm just trying to get my head around the mechanics of it. Can you just run me through how it will work? Let's just use round numbers. If I was to have $2,000 to invest, so your first initial deposit would be $1,000 in the first week to make you 20%. Then to unlock that 20%, which is $200, you would have to redeposit the other $1,000 the second week. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And then you just repeat the process. So you basically leapfrog your initial $1,000. So you'll sell that along with the $200 and put that in the third week. Would that be right?
You're putting in tokens and getting tokens. So it'd be the BlocVest tokens.
So that's tokens. So $1,000 worth of BlocVest tokens.
Correct.
Okay. So the first week, $1,000 worth of BlocVest tokens. Earn your 20%. Reinvest your $1,000 the second week. Unlock the 200. Then the third week you'd put in $1,200 worth of BlocVest tokens. Is that right?
If you want to increase the amount, you could do that, but you would need to do the same amount each week if you're doing it weekly.
Okay. I'm just trying to get my head around how the mechanics work, that's all.
Yeah, so I think the easiest way really to look at it, Andy, is that for every 5 you put in, you get 1 back, right?
Yeah.
And once you make the next payment, you're entitled to take the last one. So this vault is kind of geared towards somebody that wants, instead of going down to your bank and putting $50 a week into it, or $100 a week and getting nothing for it. If you save $100 a week in the accumulator vault, you incur 20% on top. So as that grows, the 20% is getting bigger, obviously, because that number is growing. So again, over time, if you were to go in there for 10 weeks at $100, that's 1,000. You've made 200, and you can take out the 1,200 and do whatever you want with it. or you can stay going and have that 20% get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's kind of like a savings scheme, kind of, you know, it's geared around like that whole savings scheme kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to work out the best way to go about to accumulate and to reinvest, because that one's got me quite interested.
Yeah, it's I think, you know, with the three of them, it's we can't tell you how to do them, but there's definitely plenty of options there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm as I look further into it, I'm thinking a third split between all three, and just continue just to turn it over for 6 to 12 months and see where we end up. That's my thought pattern anyway.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
No, I appreciate your time, guys, and I'll leave the floor to someone else. Thanks for that.
Andy.
Appreciate the question there, Andy. Do we have anyone else on the floor for some questions?
Yeah, I got one question. The trickle vault, it's withdraw or compound every 24 hours. Whenever you say withdraw, it's just withdraw the profits every 24 hours, or does that count as a withdraw to remove you from the trickle vault and then you lose your principal investment at that time?
Withdrawals, claims, harvests, all going to be kind of the same meaning in this instance, right? It's your whatever percent you're at based on your NFT level. So 0.5%, 0.75%, 1%, 1.5%, 2%. That's what you're getting daily that you can then either compound or claim, harvest, or withdraw. Is that whatever percentage that is each day? And then you have 365 times that you can do that.
And whenever it comes to withdraw, is it just withdraw the daily APR percent that you've earned? Or if I hit withdraw, say 3 months into it, I could withdraw all of the stuff that's been compounding the whole time too?
Well, it doesn't auto compound. So basically each day, the percentage would just add up, right? So you would be able to claim whatever 1% for 5 days adds up to, right?
Okay, so once I hit compound, whatever balance I had in rewards becomes the principal that stays in there until it's time for me to leave. And so the withdraw is just whatever I haven't compounded or withdrawn yet.
You go in with 1,000 tokens. The next day, if you have 1%, you're going to have 10 tokens sitting there for you to claim or compound, right?
Got it. And so if I hit compound, now I have 1,010 in there, and then the next day I'm going to have 1,021, and then
Well,
I get it.
1,020.1, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, got it.
And so then your next percent would be based off that total, and that's how it compounds.
All righty. I don't want to be a dead horse. If anybody else doesn't have any other questions, sounded like Mike was getting ready to ramp up the cash prize at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you also mention, Matt, that we had some whitelist spots here to give away? I believe 3 to the community.
There'll be we were offering you 3 whitelist spots for the pre-sale. So they're available for you guys to give away.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Celtic. I just wanted to verify.
That's okay, buddy.
And just one thing to touch base on is we do have a weekly AMA on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. UTC.
All right, thank you very much. So yeah, weekly AMAs, and then you have your own prize drawings within those AMAs too. Last time I saw one, I think there was like a duck race going on.
Right.
Yep, correct.
It's just what we do. We do this every Wednesday, so as we get the community to interact, and the duck races are a bit of fun. We try and give away a few tokens, maybe $20, first 5 winners or whatever. But it is an open night for everybody as well within our community, so they can pop in just like here and ask any questions that they have in regards to modules, the future, different products, whatever is going on at the time or coming in the future. So it's kind of news, questions, and a bit of fun.
Last minute for any questions here before we do our wheel spin. All right, let me just share my screen over here, Celtic. 1 second.
Yeah, you're okay, buddy.
All right, so we got the wheel spin up here first for the whitelist spots. We're usually do elimination, but we ran a little longer, so we're going to do first 3 pick off the top, and then we'll reset and do for a cash giveaway. Let's hit this for a couple of shuffles here. Let's get started. Great AMA, by the way.
Happy to be here, guys.
Looks like we got Shill. Congratulations, Shill. It's our first winner there. Pennywise, I know you're new to the group. Congratulations, Pennywise. Find yourself a whitelist spot. One more. Congratulations, legit. That's our 3rd winner there. Congratulations, guys. All right, give me just a minute here. We'll reset for a cash giveaway. All right. Had a good amount pop in tonight. Let's see, we got 65 participants tonight total. So we're going to pick the first 2 off the top for split of $50, $25 each. And then we'll also go pick in BlocVest's chat 1 random person who went and did the USA Group Send Me call. And let's get started here. We'll hit it with a couple of shuffles. Who's it going to be, guys? Who's it going to be?
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Pick me, Mike. Come on.
Congratulations, AK.
Seattle, I
That's
need you to
1.
do the duck sound.
And it looks like Melissa is our 2nd winner here. Congratulations to all the winners. We will get something pinned up in chat here just shortly. And I appreciate you guys coming on out for your AMA tonight, Celtic.
No problem, guys. And look, again, thanks very much for having us here. We're delighted to be able to come in and talk to you. I know we had a mix-up on the time the last date, and I do apologize for that. But hey, we're here, and we're kicking, and we're going to stay kicking. Again, we're thrilled to be here. So thanks very much for having us, and that's from me and all of the team.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Celtic, and you definitely are a warrior. Like, what is it now? 3 o'clock in the morning in UK?
Yeah, still part of it. Yeah, it's we're past that, buddy. We're 3:37, heading for 4 o'clock. But you know what? It is what it is, and these things are more important than me having my few hours sleep. I'll be fine. Again, hopefully we'll see Maury over around our TG group and joining our Wednesday night educational AMAs. And we look forward to the future, guys. It's certainly looking bright.